right, good afternoon. Appreciate you being here. For wrapping up practice, we'll be wearing a mask for this deal just because we have another person in the room, and it's just a requirement, obviously, keeping socially distant and wearing masks when in the room with somebody else. That being said, really good practice and full throttle preparations for our opponent this weekend. Questions, please.
Let's go to James Crapia from the Oregonian.
Mario, I'm going to try and boil down a complicated situation here. Washington's on pause. This weekend appears to be a little bit in question. If they are unable to go this weekend or in the championship game, the Pac-12 hasn't even determined who would represent the North or if there would be a North representative. This has all happened in the last 5 hours. How have you processed it? What's your view of it? And how do you convey it to your players?
100% focus on playing Washington, our opponent this weekend. And that's the information that was given to our football team. They understand there's stuff out there on social media, but we are preparing 100% to play the University of Washington.
Kevin Wade, 247 Sports.
I guess, has there been anything relayed to you from whether it's Oregon, the Pac-12, from Washington about the status of the game?
Only status of the game that I am aware of is that this game is scheduled for Saturday, that everything what we're doing, we're going forward. I understand there's a pause over there. I get it, and I'm very well informed on the protocols that go with that kind of stuff. But all indications and all information is that we're going forward with this football game.
Ryan Thorburn, Register Guard.
Sorry, Mario, I forgot my camera was off there.
No problem.
You've kind of answered it, but how do you kind of keep the team motivated? Whether you might have a big game, you might not have a big game, or you just pretend like it's going to happen regardless? Well,
I don't think we ever pretend anything. I mean, we go with what we know, and right now what we know is that we're playing Washington on Saturday, and it's that simple. How do we stay motivated? Being direct and honest, understanding the situation, the circumstances that we've afforded ourselves to be in a positive way. And at the same time, making sure that if there's any change that we'll certainly let everybody know, but we don't try to head fake our way into all this stuff. And it's as simple as, if you're not motivated for this, you're in the wrong program. And I believe our players, especially after watching practice yesterday and today, even when they heard of a pause, that the intensity and the physicality was real good. It's what we're looking for in practice. So,
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Well, you guys haven't had to pause during the season, but you did have a little pause in fall camp. How much does that slow progress? And obviously you can't put yourself in Washington's shoes entirely, but did you find that to be maybe an advantage that they're not able to practice like they normally would today and whatever the future holds?
I don't know, because I don't know what another team would do with a pause. I know when we had a pause, it was a little bit different because testing and the testing, the backup testing wasn't as advanced. Remember, it was just antigen testing, and then to get your PCRs, you had to send them down the road. So our pause took up more than a day. It took about I think 3 or 4 days. And so it really, it canceled our scrimmage. It canceled our practice after our scrimmage and our in-person meeting. So that was significant. I think nowadays, when I say nowadays, a couple weeks later, with the advancement of rapid PCR testing and being able to get results, I think teams are able to make their decisions and advance one way or the other quicker. So, but for us back in the summer, certainly it was something that wasn't pleasant, and luckily for us, they were false positives.
AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, I was taking a look at that Washington defense, and up front, they're very, very stout, put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. How do you keep Justin clean this game?
Justin, well, I'll call the Chargers and see how they're keeping him clean. Well, I appreciate you, buddy. No, you're absolutely right. They do a great job getting to the quarterback. And it's not just the edge players. The edge players do a great job, but their pressure packages and their exotic stuff on third down puts a lot of pressure on the entire offensive line. They put a lot of guys in one-on-ones and certainly make you get rid of the ball quickly. They play with power up front. They collapse the pocket very well. And they're long on the edges, long and explosive, very fast, slippery. They go speed to power. They beat you with speed. So your technique, your fundamentals, your eye discipline got to be at an all-time high. And you certainly just can't sit back there in that pocket and get comfortable. At the same time, they play a lot of man coverage outside, try to disrupt the timing of the passing game, certainly try to make it difficult for guys to get open. So, like you mentioned, they do a really good job, so we certainly have to be at our best.
Max Torres, Scoop Duck.
Mario, so much out of your control in this crazy season. Given the recent news, opportunity to compete for a conference title was up in the air. With all that in mind, what would constitute a successful season for you?
I think everything that you do to improve your football team, your team showing improvement as the season goes on, always, gets the arrow pointing towards success and growing. I know it's a different year. I guess I like to refer to it as different. I don't look for crutches or excuses or stuff like that. I think, we all know where we want to be every single year. We want to be competing for a division, a conference, and a national championship. And anytime you could put yourself in that situation, there is some type of growth and certainly going in the positive direction. So there's a lot of stuff. I can't get into every single goal that we have, but certainly there's a lot of things we got to do better at, some things we've done well, but all in all, we're always going to be striving to be better than what we're doing.
James.
Can appreciate that you're proceeding as you are, Mario, but given that there's going to be word here in the next probably few hours, in the meanwhile, there's finite possibilities in terms of if you had to pivot, at least with the other games in the league still standing. Do you have analysts, anybody start to look at, I'm not even kidding, Ohio University or Charlotte, because there's just finite possibilities for if you had to find a game, there aren't that many teams with postponed games right now.
Sure. And look, and I respect the fact that any information that we can give you certainly helps, because we all want information. But the truth of the matter is that we have to be, and always will be focused on what the task at hand is. We can't skip that step, not until there's any other indication that says, hey, this is going to go in another direction. We feel like we're doing the right things, that we've taken the right steps. And we're full bore, 100% focused on a team that honestly, that for us demands and requires to have our full attention.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Last two games between these teams were really, really competitive, Washington and Oregon. What did you learn from those games as a coach? What did your team learn? And kind of, does that make it easier to keep it focused just because this is a really intense rivalry and these last two games have been down to the wire?
These are physical games. These are physical. They're muddy. They require every ounce, of what you have, and that's the way it should be. I think these are two teams that want to get after it. They want to get after each other, and that's the way college football should always be. Rivalry should always be. So, I think it's awesome, and we're certainly looking forward to Saturday.
Warren Williamson, Oregon Duck Football News.
Mario, I was hoping you could maybe drill down on this just a bit more. On Monday, when we talked, you mentioned several items that you wanted to try to clean up for this week. Have you been able to do that, and what has that progress been like as you head into Saturday?
Well, I think we've made progress on a number of things. Certainly, we put a lot of emphasis on things on a weekly basis that we have to clean up. And I see also the fact that, a couple of guys are getting healthy and getting back in the 2 deep certainly helps that. Competition has always been the best fix for everything, right? So that part helps. Points of emphasis help. Teaching tapes help. Perspective, right? Clarity helps. Better teaching, better coaching, time invested helps. So all those things combined collectively has given us a better week of preparation. And, sometimes what gets lost when you have a week where you don't get the results you want, sometimes the development of certain positions in certain areas gets lost. I don't want to lose that, because there's some areas that are young and that are making some really good strides. Really looking like it's going to be a special position, special situation. And you want to keep nurturing that. You want to keep growing that because it's important for the team. So, but all in all, yes, to answer your question, we felt like we've attacked a lot of those areas, turnovers that we can't have, third down conversions, short yardage, the mental mistakes that we had, coverage teams, So a lot of the stuff, yes, sir.
Ryan Thorburn, Register Guard.
Mario, if Washington's able to play, what challenges does Dylan Morris present your defense?
Yeah, he does a lot now, and I think people are starting to, when they've watched him, they realize that not only is he a great quarterback, he could also run the ball extremely well and has great pocket presence because he's made some unbelievable throws, and he's found ways to dig the team sometimes out of a pretty heavy deficit and put themselves not only in winning football games, but also in position to win. And a lot of it has been him not only playing in the system, but also making plays and using his feet and finding guys. But certainly just a guy that we feel is a great quarterback, and certainly, again, going to present a tremendous challenge that we're looking forward to.
Ashley Conklin, register guard.
Mario, how do you read the psyche of this team after back-to-back losses? Where do you think they are?
Greater role, because that's what we do. That's what we emphasize, and you look for it in practice. If you ever sense anything from a staff or a player where you feel it's going the wrong way, you jump all over it right away, and you make it real. You make it a teaching moment. Haven't felt that we've had that. I felt that the practices have been physical. I feel there's been advancement. I think leaders are starting to grow. Leaders are starting to show up more and more, and understanding that all these games with so much parity and talent around the conference requires everything. And all the stuff that we're doing now has to carry over into real execution, right? Because real physicality and effort and toughness in practice has to carry over into real game execution, right? You don't practice just to practice. You want to see results in the games. And our results have been inconsistent at times, and we are looking for consistency, right? Consistency in performance, playing with the best effort we can possibly play, okay? And to, I guess the best way to explain it is our guys are understanding more and more that alignment, assignment, technique, fundamentals, eye discipline, that's all part of a play. It's not just the lines that show who you're blocking, where you're running a route to, who you're handing the ball off to. All those things come together, the what, the how, and the why. And I think we're growing in that manner.
Time for two more. Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Mario, you've talked a lot in the past about worrying about things you can control. How important is that message right now? And what's kind of been the focus you feel like with the team, and how they've been able to handle that right now?
Yeah, we've been pounding it good, because I think I've heard that a lot before I even got to the team, because that's what I want to do today first, as soon as we got on the field, because the news of the pause broke when we were already in meetings. So before you even started your walkthroughs, you want to make sure you guide the team and say, look, this is where it's at. Right now, it's all systems go. We're going to play a game on Saturday, and we'll inform each other of whatever happens when it happens. But as of right now, we have this opportunity, and we must take this opportunity to get better, because we need to get better, and we will not waste it. And from there, they took control. They really did. They credit to the players for taking control of the practice, credit for the energy they brought to the table, and for finishing the practice strong. So that's been our approach to handling it.
Last question, A.J. Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, that tight end of theirs, Otten, very, very big part of their passing offense. How do you account for him on Saturday?
He's a big guy. You know, they have a couple tight ends, you know, and they use the fullback as well. The tight ends, they have great wide receivers, big offensive line. So you have to account for him, but you have to account for all their players. Those guys all, they use them. They use them all in different ways. The tight ends are involved in protections. They're involved in the running game. They're involved in the passing game as well. And certainly, you know, he's been targeted a good number of times. And then you have some really explosive wide receivers and running backs that you have to account for as well. So I guess that doesn't answer your question. I'm basically saying account for everybody, right, and everything. But no, the guy, you got to give him credit. He's a great football player, and you know, we're looking forward to the matchup.